Let's understand ChatGPT in this video. Uh, so it's fairly easy to use. I think most of us have already used it, but the key is how to use it better or in depth, and how to have an analytical mind while interacting with it. So it's a large language model. So basically, it's a model which understands language, and it's large. That's why it's called large language model. And as a free user, we get access to this ChatGPT, which is ChatGPT 4o Mini, 4o Mini. Previously, it was 3.5. And they are consistently improving the platform. And as new models come up, they are giving free users. They are giving much advanced models. So right now, 3.5 model is gone, and 4o Mini is now being used. All right. So what is happening? Let's just interact with it and let's try to understand few things. What's on your mind? I want to learn how to use ChatGPT. So what exactly happens is as we write whatever, it is just trying to complete the sentence. So when I'm writing this, five, let's say these are six letters, six words, I want to learn how to use ChatGPT. It is completing my line and now giving it in such a form that we feel that it is understanding us. But actually, it is not understanding the meaning of our intent. It is only trying to complete the sentence. So the longer you write, the longer is our prompt, the more it understands and the precise will be its answers. Okay, so ask questions, get help with tasks, etc. So we can play around with this. So we can ask various different things. So for example, let's say explain gravity to me like I am five. It will explain in very simple words now. Gravity is like a big invisible force that pulls everything towards ground. Let's say we are college students, then we will say explain gravity uh, like I'm 16, for example. So a 16-year-old who is just passing out from college, it will give a little bit more in detail. And if we say like explain like a PhD, it will give us even more in depth. Then we can ask it to give us some quiz questions. So form few quiz questions on gravity topic based on the above information with proper MCQ format. So the key of using ChatGPT is asking correct questions and asking giving right instructions. If we want output like this, then we have to we have to explicitly tell that give in MCQ format. If you don't want correct answer here, then we have to tell it that don't give me the correct answer. So it has given us. Uh, then let's say what else can we do? We are having conversation. So one thing to understand is when we wrote this question now, okay, form few quiz questions on gravity topic based on above information. So above information, when we say it already knows this whole conversation. So when we are interacting with ChatGPT is like a conversation and in one chat. So this here is one chat. So in one chat, whatever we discuss or talk, our our questions and the output, both of it, uh, all of it is recorded in its memory, and we call it context memory. And the free version of ChatGPT has about 4,000 context tokens, so it's about 3,000 words. So as our conversation goes longer and longer, it will forget the top questions and then retain the latest 3,000 words in its memory. So the good technique is when you train a particular chat. So for example, we have not trained over here, but we will try in the next example. But when we are discussing on a particular topic, use that thread only, use that conversation only for 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 discussing on that particular topic. Don't dilute it with other topics, especially if you are training it on particular topic. So this was general chat, right? Now if I say you are an expert Python programmer, suppose, okay, I want you to help me write in the Python application for a to-do list. Give basic framework first, then code. Now, what is happening? We are giving a proper prompt here, right? We are telling it that you are an expert Python programmer. So we are giving it a certain personality. Now, whenever I want to talk about this program, I should come to this chat and not anything else. And even in this chat, I should not talk about any different project, for example. So if we are writing to-do list, we'll stick to this project because then it knows the database, it knows the code that is already given us. It could be any different topic. So if you are studying, for example, biology, then whatever you are asking, keep it separate chat. And new chart you can use for any general things. Now it has given proper code which can we can just copy paste and it will run perfectly. Um, all right, actually, if you want to run it real quick, I can do this. So I'll just copy this and in my VS Code, if I go to new window and let's say new file, main.py, let's save it over here only and I paste the code. In coding, it gives code pretty often correctly from to-do list. So I have to 1 second. Yes. CLI.py. So this is another file. All right. So let's cut this. Control N, paste CLI.py. All right. And then let's save this file as task.py. So let's rename this. So I have renamed it task.py. And this is to-do list.py. Okay. So cut, save, new file, save, to-do list.py. All right. So we have got these three files. Now what is it saying? Uh, okay, so we have to run this file from CLI.py, right? So I'll just go here and Python CLI.py. Enter command, let's say add title by mill, description 1 liter, due date, let's say 30 August. Um, save list. Okay, so it got saved, right? So we added one thing and then it got saved and we can update if we want. And let's try adding one more add by cake. Let's say 1 kg cake, due date 31st August. Done. And then we can just list. And now we have got two things. Right, so I didn't even check the code, but I just wanted to tell or demonstrate how much it has improved since a few last year, for example. Last year it wasn't giving this at this level for free. The paid version was definitely good, but the free version was not really up to the mark. But now with ChatGPT 4.0, which they are giving in our free version, the code is pretty much correct. So you have to go through it, then you have to tweak it correctly. Now, if you want to build a web application from this, then we'll write like that. Let's build a simple web app on this with this and use JavaScript, HTML, and our Python code. Then it will give us, and then one by one we'll go on, working on it, so on. Anyway, so that was one thing. So one thing we understood is context. It has a context of about 4,000 tokens, and eventually they will improve it. So the longer we talk, it starts forgetting the top things. Then uh, you have to give it a personality. So when you give a personality, you get much better responses. then it can also give you summarize things. So let's say if you go to some articles. So I was reading one article on a challenge. For example, this is an article that I have been going through, which is approach to solving an arc challenge. This is a challenge, is $1 million challenge on coming up with a new logic of building AI. Okay, so the current logic of building ChatGPT is through transformer models. But these guys are trying to find a new logic, and then they have come up with a competition. So I'm kind of, playing around with it. And now I want to summarize this. So one thing is I can directly give this link and say ask to summarize. So summarize this in depth. So if I want in-depth summary, then I'll say like summarize in depth. Now it will read this. I wasn't okay if you provide a brief. All right. So some links work, some links do not work. That is because of copyright issues and etc. So what we can do if it doesn't read like this, then we'll just copy paste all of this. I'll just go to the end and I'll ignore the images and I just copy and I'll just paste. Now context window has increased to longer text, right? So what we'll do, we'll break this up because it's actually a very large document. I will probably do it till here only. Uh, till here only, for example. And maybe in the new chat, summarize. And this limit will go away. But also, if it doesn't use this, if the text is really long, you can use Gemini because Gemini has more context window. But it really works well for the summary. So it's a big document. We just got summary of that. So using summary is one option. We can ask it to come up with some stories. So let's say, give me a short story in Hindi, adventure of a boy lost in the jungle with his dog. So it can give us in the language that we want. Um, okay. Then let's say write a short 4 line poem on cow where, where each word starts with C. It's a bit challenging. And now you see, calm cow, cuddly creature, caring clearly cattle, charming coat, crisp color. So now it was able to do this, but it probably the earlier version wasn't able to do this all the time. But okay, for cow with C, it actually gave us. What exactly happens behind the scenes, if you want to understand, is one. So there were two things that happened. Okay, one was training, which was one-time process from ChatGPT, and one is inference. Okay, so training is one time. So, for example, for ChatGPT, they trained model for 100 days with 25,000, let's say, A100 chips, which are very costly, and it costed them at least about $100 million. Okay, that was the cost, and then there was energy and a few more things. This was the hardware cost. Hardware cost was about 60, and then there would be some other information. Now, in the training data, they scraped almost all of the internet. Almost. Okay, so that consists of millions of books, newsletters, and now the latest models are multimodal. So they gave it images, audio as well, and so on and on. So they got like a lot of things, and they gave it there. And then they said, take this whole content and train it. Okay, and at the end of training, we got a system which we call ChatGPT. And it's a big affair. So just to give some more points, it was GPT-4 was trained on 1.5 trillion words tokens actually. So it was roughly about 1.2 trillion words. Okay, and they come up with 111 billion parameters. Now, parameters are the small values, which is the real logic of the output. So, imagine coming out with values for 111 billion small parameters like x, y, x1, x2, x3, x4, like that for 100 billion. And that number is the logic of brain. So what happens once this process is done? We have got a synthetic brain. Okay, synthetic brain, and synthetic brain is it works much closer to the human brain. It's not quite there yet, but it is on that journey. So as we come up with more novel approaches and more data, we will actually surpass human brain very soon. Okay, so this is one time thing, and this thing everybody has done more or less the same way. So for example, Gemini, Claude, Grok, which is by Elon Musk. Then let's say there is who else is there? There is Mistral AI, then there is Llama by Facebook. All of them have done the more or less similar thing. They scraped a lot of data, they gave it for training, and then finally they got some out. The other part is inference, which is what is happening over here. So inference is like coming to the conclusion, and this when we ask, we are actually asking for a conclusion. Behind the scenes, what happens is this gets encoded into the numbers. So whatever we write gets encoded into numbers. So for example, write will be 100, short could be maybe 25, line is maybe 23. So whatever is our input sequence gets converted into a number, and it's a long number list. And when it goes to ChatGPT, it understands those numbers and give us new numbers, and then those new numbers are then converted back into the words. That is what it happens. So do not mistake that it understands our intent or our meaning. It just understands which word is more important and how I should complete the sentence. So when we write something like this, for example, when we write something like this, that I want to do this, now it knows what to write next. And then it goes to, so it writes this word first, then it writes the second word, then third word, fourth word, and then so on and on. But just the thing is that it was trained on such a large data that it kind of it in such a depth that we get a coherent answer. Okay, we get a coherent answer, so we think that it is understanding us, but it is just not understanding. That's why you have to really write good prompts and longer prompts if needed, as per the situation demands, and that will give you kind of better answers. And now it says you have hit the free limit for O. So I think right now next our output our responses will be probably be 3.5. So let's just see. Continue, and we'll see which model it uses. So here, if we check, if we click, it says it's used GPT-4o, which they launched about 2-3 months back. And the next answer that we are getting here, we'll just check which model they are switching back to once we are out of our limit. Okay, no, so they switched to 4o mini, which is a mini model, which is still better than 3.5. It's fine. Um, Well, so that's it in this video. I think as a free version, we can also explore GPTs over here. So these are like custom trained models on top of GPT. So for example, we want to create a logo, then we go to here, logo creator, and okay, so let's chat. I'm not sure if it gives. Um, so craft a logo for let's say. mm let's say lock, door lock. Okay, I think because we are out of our limit, we cannot use it. But what happens here is some person they give some content on top of our GPT, and and they launch a custom GPT, so to say. And because it was trained on a particular specific data set, it kind of gives us better answers. So we can create logo by normal chat as well with the chat GPT. But if we use this particular GPT, for example, and if he has given the user, the person who created this has given the right information to that, then it kind of knows. Otherwise, we will have to write good context. Just like for the Python application, we wrote few lines, 3 lines. this person might have written about 100 lines to create a so when we use this ChatGPT, we get kind of ready-made persona for that particular thing. So this is copywriter GPT, marketing branding. So now if you want to do marketing, we can probably try this GPT rather than our own prompt. Of course, we have to write our own prompt to just play around with it and see how it works. But there is no harm in trying the existing GPTs that they have built as well. But the only fact is, this works only as long as our free credits are available. So right now it says that it will be unlocked after 4 hours. So until then we cannot use it. But at least until that we can use it. So if you want to come up with some marketing campaign, then we can just write, think of yourself as an expert marketing executive who has tons of experience on various sales strategies as well, both BTC and okay, so sales strategies. All right, help me craft a proper strategy to sell t-shirts, quirky t-shirts. So quirky t-shirts. Um, all right, let's see. Now we can even elaborate on that prompt, but now it is giving us a proper, quirky t-shirt. So I made a spelling mistake here, so it fixed it as well. Define your target audience, age, gender. So now if I really give the proper product, it will give us even more relevant strategy. But right now, this is still work. Develop a unique selling proposition, create a strong brand identity, build an engagement online presence, website, etc., etc., etc. So on and on. And we can even go further in depth. So, for example, 10th point, explore partnership. Go more in depth on 10th point and give me standard operating procedure for seeking partnerships and also how to find partners. Okay. So now it is SOP giving me SOP for seeking partnerships, which is for particularly 10th point. So identify your goal. So this is how we can dive into, proper project planning or research. So we get an outline first, then we deep dive into each point separately, and then we combine all of it. And then all the final combination you can give in another chat and ask to give it another look or kind of fine tune it here and there. So that's an iterative approach, but that works the best. And if you combine this with, let's say, another LLM, that also works well. So you give output of ChatGPT to, for example, Claude, and then you ask Claude to improve on it, and then give it back to ChatGPT later on, like that. That gives you the best results in general. But for now, what we learned is, let's say, we learned about context, we learned about normal chats, few styles, Python example, and a brief about training and inference, etc. So, well, just what I would say at last is try to make it your buddy. Like the more you use ChatGPT for all of your work, the more you will start understanding how it works, and it will help you as more and more models come up in the market. So playing around with it and reading what it is giving us is important. Do not just blindly copy paste what it gives you. Some of the times the answer is not correct. It could be factually wrong. So in the free version, at least there are chances. Even in the paid version, there are chances to get the false information. So you verify it if it is mission critical. But in general, do not trust it blindly, but read always and just develop a style of talking to it, conversing with it just like an assistant or just like a friend. That will really help you in the long run. Well, so that's it. Thank you. Bye. Oh, actually, one more thing. So if you are watching this from the app.ai Leela website, then you can website, then you just go to you just upload your some of your prompts as an activity. All right. So here is the ChatGPT chapter we have. So for example, here is the ChatGPT chapter, right? Exploring ChatGPT. So you go here and you upload some of the prompts if you want to kind of, build your AI work portfolio. So that will help you really in having all of your AI works at one single place. Um, so it will look something like this. So if I go here and I go to ChatGPT and I go to exploring ChatGPT, so here you'll see how other people have used ChatGPT, and you'll see my prompts over here, and these are other people's prompts. So this is some person, then this is another person, Aryan, and then whatever this guy has done on different AI tools, you can just click on his name and you can see what else he has used. So he has used ideogram, and the post image that he generated from ideogram is here, so on and on. Um, so this is a really good website to kind of keep a track of your work and upload your AI generated work and just see how other people are using that tool. So this is the first video right now in the ChatGPT. I will be creating more videos for more tools. So that's it. Thank you so much. Bye.